Okay, and we hope the stream doesn't die in the first 20 minutes or so, as has been happening lately. So we have some pretty decent announcements. 3. And 2, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go shopping today, so just let me know, by the way, that audio and everything is okay. So unfortunately, I'm down to Krauten liquor as a way to, you know, sort of celebrate the launch of Kurgan TV. Salute. But aside from the Kurgan TV stuff, we've got some interesting things today to discuss about fear and epigenetics and how your genes change even within the generation that you are part of. So, okay, hopefully everything is working. Let me know if you can hear and see. Hello, Chad. Chad is always one of the first. Just let me know about the audio and the video, because I don't want to wrap away while nothing's going on. But if you can hear me all right, I shall begin. Congrats on the Digital Kurganate. Thank you, and I believe you are one of the very early adopters, so that's going pretty well. Quite a few people have signed up for the whole year ahead of time, so I'm gonna try something that I haven't really done before, which is play a video inside this video. So I hope it works. Now, audio and video is good. Excellent. Thank you, Chad. And I can always rely on you. I don't know if it's people popping in or out, or if it's like numbers going up and down, but I'm not sure that I can see all of you, because hello, Michael. There's more stuff going on in the chat and thumbs up than I can see people here. But hello, Jordan. So anyway, I'm gonna try and do this. Let's see if this works. I believe that I should just be able to add a video file here. This is gonna be it's like a minute video, and it's one of the trailers for the Digital Kurganate. So let's see if and right, now I don't know how to get back to me. I don't know if that's still going or what. Clear recent items. All right. I wanted to congratulate you nonetheless. Okay. I don't know how to get back to live mode. Okay. All right. I have no idea how this is going. Click that. Let's ask the chat. I don't know. Okay, looks like I'm back. Okay, I don't know if that little clip actually played or not, because the the video went down, the stream went down about 3 times while the preview was supposed to play. Whatever crappy thing happened there, I promise you the trailer is much better. So if you just go to here, I'll just put it in the chat, Kurganate. If you go there, there's like a little portal there, and then you click on the join button, and you'll get to another screen that says, you know, if you want to see the content, click on the content button, and then you can see the different series, and when you click on the series, you can see the trailer for each series. So that was a bit painful. I don't know if that even played properly or not, but anyway, that was just one of the trailers. There's a trailer for each series. There is a series on the lies that you've been told in history, and actually that was one of my most popular videos done long ago about the lies of history. And for that particular series, I've already got like over 60 different titles that we're gonna do on. The remaining, you know, the Face on Mars series has got about, I can't remember now, 10 or 12 videos like mapped out for it. The Systema one also something like 10 or 11, something like that. And then there's the Deprivationist series, which is another quite long one, because there's an element of that can just continue, which is just taking out heretics. There's going to be like a segment of videos where we go in depth into people like Emma Jones, Tate Marshall, and why they're actually liars and grifters. So we got Backstabber 101. Congrats, first time typing stuff, but wanted to congratulate you nonetheless. And don't mind the username. I thought it up when I was young, just never got to changing it. We've all played Dungeons and Dragons, you know, and there's backstabbing is an honorable tradition for assassin, thieves, scouts, you know. So I'm curious to know, one of you guys that has suffered through the whole thing, whether that little clip actually played or not. If it did and it wasn't too bad, I can always play another little clip somewhere. Let me know what you think. I think there's only a few of you here, or it keeps popping in and out. I don't know. Are any of you popped out and popped back in? We're all rogue a lot. There you go. I knew it. Backstabber. That's what the thieves do. The clip played with sound. Okay, so maybe, do you guys want another clip? One of the other series? They're pretty short. I think another pretty short one is the Face on Mars one. So if you want, you could play with that. There we go, a little trailer. Is there a function on KTV where it shows the videos you've already watched? I don't know. It's a good question. You know, we've got a special on for the first 100 people that sign up, which if you're in the Kurgan chat, or if you'd emailed me, you've already got the heads up. So some people have already signed up, and once the first 100 sign up, that's gone. So the price is gonna have to go a little bit further up. But the best deal you can get on it now is if you do the annual thing, you get I think it's $20 a month. But keep in mind, you know, there's only like 15 or 16 videos on there now. But the thing is, we're going to add like 4 videos every week. So by the end of the year, you're going to have well over 160 videos, even accounting for holidays or whatever, you know. So 160 videos. The length of the videos ranges because it depends on the topic. But, you know, I've got videos on there already that are over like an hour long, and I've got videos that are like 20 minutes long. So overall, you're going to get probably, I don't know, 100 hours worth of focused educational stuff. So it's not, you know, it's not like my rants here or my interacting with the chat. It's a proper sort of, I guess, documentary style type thing. where you're getting information that you probably have not seen anywhere else and probably won't see anywhere else. Greeny Houdini, hello. I kind of like her picture, sacrilegious though it is, of a smoking nun. And she says she doesn't day drink, but you know, here I am, night drinking. Well, it looks like it's a slow night, but then again, it is the middle of the week and in August. So I think I will. I'm just gonna play you the. I'm gonna play you the other trick. And there it is. So I hope that one played with sound, and hopefully you enjoyed that one. The little dig at good old Graham Hancock at the end. I quite enjoyed that one. Ayahuasca drinker, because that is what he does. Well, okay, that's I think enough of the Digital Kurganate for now. I wanted to go discuss about but do just last thing for the Digital Kurganate thing. Like I said, those 100 spots, once they're gone, and it's pretty much automated, so I can't really do too much about it. I've got a IT guy that's looking at that stuff. And yeah, I hope that if you enjoy my stuff, you sign up, because we've done that special, because it really takes about 100 subscribers, and we've tried to keep the price as low as possible for it to be viable, in order, you know, to pay the various costs that are involved, the people that are helping me do it, and all that. Yeah, the martial arts stuff is. I'm actually quite proud of the Sistema series, because if you've got the Sistema book, there was 40 videos that came with that, but the stuff that's in here is not a repetition of what's in the book. It's different stuff from other seminars that I did, from stuff that I'm doing now. So, and it's geared to explaining to you why Sistema is so effective compared to other martial arts, which it is. It just is. You know, I've done martial arts since I was 4 years old, and it's only the last few years that I've stopped training, you know, regularly inside a gym. So I've been exposed to a bunch of different martial arts, and Sistema it's just better than the other one. It's more effective, it's quicker to learn, and it's healthier for you. And I don't care, you know, people that don't know, or the people that think they know but they don't know, that say, oh well, Sistema looks fake, you know. These guys have never, ever, ever trained with a proper exponent of Sistema. Never. Not once. I can guarantee you that, because I did karate for like decades, and then when I met one of these Russian guys, he could do what he wanted with me. And I wasn't, you know, I wasn't somebody that hadn't had physical confrontations, never mind in training. You know, I mean, I worked as an armed bodyguard for a few years, and we did security work, which I'm not getting it into, but security work in South Africa is, let's just say, it's not standing in front of a door. Okay, we arrested people that the cops were afraid to go and get. So, you know. But look, you can look at the trailers for free anyway. Just go to the kurgan.tv site and just click through. And when you click on the series, you'll see there's like watch trailer. So you've got a trailer for that. Now, as the series, the Lies of History series is just going to carry on going for a long time, because there's a lot of material there. And it's split into 5 parts. So there's like eras, different eras. I've got a lot of material for that. But once the other series is finished, there's going to be new series kicking in. Like I want to do like another series on hypnosis, the human mind, that sort of stuff. So it'll hopefully be quite interesting. am I lifting weights or is firming enough? I've never lifted weights. I hate lifting weights, going to the gym. I've always done, gravity resistance exercises like push-ups and squats, that sort of stuff. But like just training, just part of training of normal training. I did test the limit of when I was, for a very brief period of time, I looked into static resistance training. That's the only weight that I've ever tried because it's quick. There's a guy called Pete Sisko that talks about it. And he had a little book. It was like a $10 book, ebook. And I think he took it off the market because he realized he put everything in that $10 ebook and like nobody was buying any of his other stuff because it's like, well, it told you everything in there. And basically with static resistance training is you do an exercise that you can only do for like maximum 10 seconds. 5 seconds is ideal. And so you put the weights like on the stops, and it's not a full range movement, it's just like the last inch. And it's on the stops because to be safe, right? So you like when you do the chest press or whatever, you just pull it up like a couple of inches off the stops, and then if you can hold it longer than 5-10 seconds, you put more weight on. And you do the same for your legs, and then you do the same for like a pull down. So you're working like your pecs, you're working like your abs, and you're working your leg muscles, all the big muscles of your body. And you do that like 3 times a week when you start, and then it goes down to 2 times a week. And like bodybuilders and stuff, they do like one of those sessions once a month, or even every 2 months. And they've all increased in strength because of what it does is it shocks your whole system to say, oh my God, we need muscles. And then it builds muscles. So that's the only time I've ever sort of tried it. And when I was in Egypt, I'm trying to remember what the weight was. Yeah. So they had this machine. They had a pretty decent machine there in the hotel, which you could like stack a bunch of weight on. And I could move. It was 210 kilos. That was the weight on the thing. But I'd forgotten that the mechanism, the bar or whatever, was another 20 kilos. So it was 230 kilos that I could like push up and keep up for a couple of few seconds, like 10 seconds or something. So no, I don't lift. I've never lifted. I've always done a lot of push-ups, but there's different types of muscles, and my muscle endurance is I've got very quick reflexes. I've got like a fast twitch type of muscle, and so when I was clay pigeon shooting, I went shooting with my dad and his friends or whatever. The last time I went, they've got these like little metal boxes that shoot the clay pigeon out of, and you don't know which one it's going to go out of. There's like 3 of them, and you say pull, and it's going to go off from one of those 3. There's little machines in there, and they're made of metal, so it's protected because if a guy shoots wrong or whatever. And I was burning these clay pigeons so quickly that my dad came up behind me and he says, dude, you're blasting the thing before it's left the box. There's like a couple of your pellets are hitting the top of the little roof of the cabin. Just let it fly for like a second or 2 because you're just frying them before. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. I was just like, okay, pull, and as soon as it came down, boom. And he was saying, you're not even giving the other guys a chance, or just play it cool sort of thing. And yeah, I've always had like pretty good reflexes, but I don't think I'm particularly strong to move weights. I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'2" and whatever, so I'm not wimpy or anything. But my strength also comes in either short bursts, like a very quick sprint, or super long distance, like hiking and stuff like that. I can walk people into the ground. I like literally can just walk for days. But don't ask me to like do long distance running. That's not my thing. I can walk, and the guy that tries to run the same distance, I can probably get there before him if the distance is long enough, because I'll walk 200 Ks. I don't care. So I'm not a. But because I've done all these exercises all the time, I don't have particularly big muscles or anything. I don't think. But I remember that in training once, I was wrestling with this guy in a Sistema class. And he was a weightlifter. Like his bicep was probably the size of my thigh. It was like about double the size of my thing. And he was also a short, squat guy, so it's even more difficult to, strength-wise, he's got short levers, so it's like tough. But I managed to get him in a position that I don't know, just works well for me. Like when you're wrestling, whatever. If I can get my arm behind somebody's arm, so you kind of, you'll see it in if you guys have subscribed in one of the Systema videos, one of the later ones. There's a little move that happens that I do that. And so I had my arm, he was like with his arms like that, and I had my arm behind him, so holding both his arms with one hand. But this guy is like, huge. He's like, and I was just holding him, and I was like, well, he's a bodybuilder, he's a weightlifter, so he's probably just going to pop out of it. And he couldn't. And I was like, is he like faking it? And so I started tapping him with my free hand. I just started slapping his face and poking him in the solar plexus just to give him an incentive to get away. And he was like, oh my God, again. Like, come on, dude, you're a weightlifter. Well, how much weight do you push? And I'm like, I can push over. I forgot what number he told me. It was more than I could do anyway. I'm like, well, then why can't you get free from me? And it's a different kind of strength. It's I'm also not particularly strong at like pulling and holding, like when you're doing throws and you grab a guy by his clothes and you throw the guy. I have to use like momentum and stuff for that stuff. The guy's big and whatever. I can't really move him easily pulling, but pushing or hitting, punching, that I can do that. Like, I don't know why. My maybe the training that I've done over the years, but I'm a lot stronger pushing stuff away from me than pulling anything towards me. So my charming personality, perhaps, I don't know. But anyway, so that's Alicia. Hello, Alicia. That's my sound mistress. Isometric resistance is good. Negative failure. I did a lot of that in the 90s. Yeah. My dad always told me to try to catch those while he was shooting at them. Well, maybe you weren't loved properly then. Can you hunt in Italy? Is there a lot of wildlife? You can hunt, but well, funnily enough, I don't know, maybe a week or so ago, my wife called me out, and there's wild pigs, boars in here, and there's quite a lot of them. And in the neighbor's field, which is, it's if you're decent with a rifle, it's rifle distance, but it's like a few hundred meters. We counted 13 boars. They also had young, but there was at least 4 or 5 big females, so yeah, there's definitely boars. But I grew up in Africa. We hunted a lot. I mean, when I was a kid, I think I shot my buffalo, the first buffalo, when I was 12, and I carried my own rifle at 375, all the way, tracking it. And I shot plenty of hartebeest, wildebeest, impala, you name it. We pretty much blasted it at some point. And by the time I was 15, I remember my dad asking me once, he said, oh, so what kind of hunting do you prefer? And I was like, well, he said, do you like the big game hunting and all that? And I was like, actually, Dad, the hunting I prefer is probably just to go duck hunting with the dog, because I had a really brilliant dog. So I like, shoot a couple of ducks and go with the dog. And my dad looked at me. I mean, I was 15, so he was 37, 8, 9, something like that, going not quite 40, I think. And he looked at me and goes, fucking hell, son, if you're thinking like that now, at the time you're my age, you're going to be 95. And yeah, he wasn't far wrong. I mean, I would hunt in terms of, we got pheasants actually on our land. I saw it the other day. I keep forgetting to tell my wife. I saw a pheasant on the way into the property, and then the next day I saw 2 of them inside our property, and I kind of know where they live. They're like 2 female pheasants, and I saw the male a little bit early. I guess he's in the Kurganate. He's got a couple of females. It's just kind of normal, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't get the instinct of like, oh, there's a pheasant, I want to shoot a pheasant. I was like, nah, it's beautiful, leave the pheasant alone. I mean, if they gave me licenses for idiots, I'd be out there all day. You know, I'd just get a bit of food, water, tell the wife, see you in a week. But I've shot and killed enough things that I don't particularly have an urge to hunt that much. But yeah, you can. I don't know that there's a lot of game, and it's pretty well regulated, you know. So in wrestling, we would refer to that as junkie strength. Very good, fella. Yeah, no, I was never a junkie, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's just surprising to me sometimes. I've had that, you know, where it's like people just making assumptions. Even big guys. I've had like very big guys come. I remember these two guys in particular. I think they were both. Well, one was Polish. I think the other one was Latvian. I can't remember. The Polish guy is a really lovely dude, like Thomas. He's actually in that little clip, the Sistema clip, the first big bald guy you see, that's him. And when we first met, we were, you know, I wasn't teaching Sistema, I was just training, and we're doing this exercise where you just like tap each other on the chest, like to kind of get a rhythm going. And the guy's 130 kilos and there's not an ounce of fat on him. And, you know, his ears are like cauliflower ears because he's been a wrestler, bouncer. And after about a minute of doing this, he like goes to me and says, stop. Listen, please, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but can you stop hitting me so hard, because I think you're going to break a rib or something. And I was like, I wasn't actually like punching you, you know, I was just doing the exercise. I was just letting the weight of my hand go a little bit because you're a big guy. I'm like, okay, sorry. And he had like probably 40, 50 kilos on me, and you know, he was going pretty hard, but it was just moving me. So that was one. And another one was this guy, also similar build, also bullet-headed bald dude. And he came in with a bit of an attitude and was like, yeah, I'm a bouncer. Are you the teacher? And by that time I was teaching. Like, you the teacher? You know, because I was like about chest height to him. And they're like, oh, look at that, you're the teacher. What are you going to do to me, huh? So I was like, okay, tell you what, you can be my sparring partner for the like exercise. And he goes, yeah, okay. We take it easy, right? I don't want to hurt you. I was like, yeah, we'll take it easy, that's fine. And we did, took it easy. But after about 3 minutes, he goes, thank you very much. I'm very rude. I was very sorry. I was very arrogant. Thank you. And can I come train some more? I was like, yeah, of course. You know. So, and I didn't do anything nasty to him. You know, genuinely was just training. And he was like, you're like half my size. How can you like cause that much damage to me with everything that you're doing? And I'm getting scared of coming close to you now. So, you know, Sistema definitely works. And yeah, I don't know, junkie strength. Maybe junkies just do a lot of training. Who knows? Elias says, nice. I got a hunting license recently, so I'll start hunting this autumn. Going to be a valuable skill in the future. Absolutely, yeah. I don't remember where you're from, Elia, and I'm not sure if you want to. I remember your email, so congratulations on getting baptized, by the way. But I don't remember where you're from. I don't know if you want to say. But yeah, remember, there's always a spot for good steady privationists in the Kurganate, you know. There's the digital Kurganate is information. The physical Kurganate is crusaders. So if you want to move to Italy, drop me an email and we'll figure something out. So yeah, okay, the original topic, fear and epigenetics. So I've been getting back in touch with James Fock Higgins recently. He's got a Telegram channel that talks about mostly Australia. And Australia is the most cucked nation on earth. In one of his recent comments or something, he mentioned he had an interview with Blair Cottrell some time back, who's apparently a guy in Australia who was like being vilified or whatever. And he said some time ago, well, you know, in Australia we're a bit more free than everywhere else. And I was like, I was aware in the 90s that Australia, New Zealand, all those places, they're absolute shitholes. They're completely, you know, they're just completely subverted. And the reason I know that is because of the Port Alfred massacre, where there was 29 people killed by a guy who shot like something like 20 bullets. He was shooting 2 people at once. And after that, they took guns away from everybody. They blamed a guy who's supposed to be 85 IQ, brilliant. If you want to read on that, Miles Matthews has got some stuff on him. There was a guy who wrote The Massacre of Port Alfred, which totally exposed the falsity, the lies, the fact that it was a special ops guy that did the thing. And then they like kind of tried to paste the video, the face of the brilliant guy onto the guy who ran out of there. And it was like really badly done, like a Photoshop thing. It's just like an anonymous email that goes to the Australian cops. And the brilliant guy was supposed to die, suicide himself, but he survived. And then they kept him strapped to a chair for 3 days to make him like confess that he did it, and completely shit. But anyway, this Joe, I forget what his name was. He wrote a little book on it, which I bought at the time, and he discussed the whole thing. And he was working in oil fields, and he said, look, this is what's going to happen. 2-3 years later, he was dead. And he was exposing like oil magnates, the elite. He was exposing a bunch of stuff. So I knew then that like, yeah, Australia's completely fucked. Anyway, talking with James Fox Higgins, one of the things that he mentioned that sort of made me realize this was like, look, it's been generations, it's taken generations to like brainwash everybody into being so stupid and weak. They were just buying all this shit. And it's true. But now here's the thing about that. It's absolutely true that for generations, at least 4, 5, 6, 10 generations, since the Second World War. So that's at least 2, 3 generations, yeah? Let's say it's only 2 generations. They've brainwashed every man to become a ballless little pussy and to just accept the rule of his inferiors because, oh, well, there's a tick box somewhere that says I need to do this. Now, epigenetics means that you can change your DNA and the DNA of your kids simply by changing your attitude in the here and now. So your DNA changes to some degree by your behavior in the here and now. And that gets passed on to your kids. Now, if we've been brainwashed like rats for the last 2 or 3 generations, nevertheless, somewhere in your ancestry, there is still some Viking with an axe, a crusader with a 2-handed sword, some dueling fucker with a rapier or a pistol, some mercenary somewhere. You've still got some DNA of actual men with testicles that are attached, not bought in a store, not in their wife's purse or anything like that. And you gotta get that shit back up again, because look what's happening in Australia now. They're forcibly injecting kids. They're putting kids in a stadium to get them all injected, and the parents are dropping them off, some of them, but some kids it looks like it's against their will. There's kids dying, there's kids like getting adverse reactions there and then. You now have to have a thing on your door if you're quarantining, like a little yellow star type stuff. And the cops are just brutalizing people for any minor mask infraction, all sorts of shit. And I mean, like, again, look at the numbers. In the UK, there's 127,000 police, or 125, I forget. There's like 8 million able-bodied men between the ages of 20 and 40. Why are you putting up with that shit? I don't know if you actually need to even get to violence. Just surround the cop station with a bunch of sticks and say, well, we're not doing any violence. But if you start shooting, you starting the violence, well, then we're going to have a problem. What are they going to do? It's... Poster child says they bend the knee at a sharp look. Yeah, the Australians are completely cocked. Completely. Right, let me just catch up with the thing here. Danny Helms says, missed you, Kurgan. Or Denny Helms. Okay. Sorry, dude. Or lady, I don't know. I'm terrible with names, but glad you found me again. And where are we? Greenie says, I'm 5'11". You want to fight? Well, don't fight with girls. But I think my wife would object to a little wrestling match with a 5'11" smoking nun, but you know, I don't know. Maybe we should ask her. I'm from Finland. That's what I thought. I thought you were from Finland. We have a ton of wildlife here, and the hunting laws are very good. That's excellent, dude. Finland is one of the better places to be, I think. Even as far as the COVID stuff goes and the mask stuff goes. Finland is basically a nation of autists, so they're good, I think. So yeah, that was my little rant on the epigenetics and the fear. I don't know, it seems to be a slow night. There's only a few of you here, but it's middle of the week, I know. So we'll open it up to the floor. If you've got any questions about any topic or anything, shoot. This has got my x-rays on it. I need to check my foot out. I have some injury on my... I did it like months ago and then I just didn't look after it, so I think it's got a bit bad. I might need a little bit of a intervention on one of my feet, but we'll see. So... Here, Greenie is laughing. So yeah, got any topic, any questions on the Digital Kurganate or anything else, let me know. I tell you what I'll tell you. I'll tell you the titles, if I've got it here. So the set deprivation, until you guys fire me some question, I'm just going to ramble on. On the set deprivationist series, the first video is like an introduction to Catholicism and why there are so many pederasts in it. Number 2 is Catholicism and Logic. Number 3 is Carbonari and Freemasons. Number 4, the Immutable Castle of Catholicism. Then it's going to be like Freemasons everywhere. A lot of details on the Freemasons with some links to a really good video that somebody else did. It's like a 5-hour video, but it's the guy who did it got killed. So yeah. So there's like a lot of detailed information in this stuff. And for the lies that you've been told, there's going to be 5. Oh, good. Questions are rolling in. I'll answer them in a minute. So there's going to be 5 periods, sort of prehistory to about 12,000 BC, then 12,000 to about 2,000 BC, then 2000 BC to 480, then 400 AD to about 1500 AD, and then 1500 AD to present day. The Face on Mars series has got starts off with Martian facts and history of Martian exploration, then the details of the Viking probes. Number 3 has got face images, which Mark Carlotta has very kindly allowed me to use some of his video clips and so on. Then Martian conditions for life, and then it gets even more interesting from there. The Face on Mars series is a little bit of a slow burn. So it's like the first 4 videos are kind of like background, and then it gets interesting. The Sistema series has got like an introduction to martial arts in general, then one on neurology of combat, then changing the neurological responses, one on mind maps or brain maps, one in knife drills, then one on taking strikes. So yeah, there's quite a lot of interesting little bits, and I see you're firing me some questions, so let's see what you're telling me. Slanty Chauffeur Bear says, are there people who can manipulate their aura to trick those that can see them? Oh, that's such a woo-woo question. I used to get a lot of questions like that when I was teaching Sistema, and like I'd get phone calls like almost daily. Some guy would call up and say, hello, I saw your website and I've read your book. I'm like, yeah. So the gym is like, yeah, the gym's there. You want to come train? You want to come look at it or whatever? Well, could I just come and watch? I'm like, yeah, you can come and watch, but why don't you just step in the class and see if you like it, you know? And they were like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll come. And, oh, tell me, can you like move fire with your mind? I'm like, what the fuck? Look, I do get into that into the Systema series, and I get into that in the book. There are some really odd things that you can do. You know, like auras are real things. Yes, you can manipulate people by knowing about the stuff and sort of get them to do certain stuff or move a certain way or avoid you or come closer to you or talk to you or whatever. But you're talking about a minority of people, a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of human beings can see auras. Most of those people that are not, if they're functional, they have to choose to be able to see the aura, because when the stuff started happening and I started to see all these things, you go down one or two roads. Either you choose the path of going all into that, and I don't advise it, because you're delving in a realm that's not your realm, and it's gonna, you can get so lost in it that you forget things like eating, paying your rent, and whatever. Or you shut it down and you use it only when you need to. So you're talking about somebody, like 0.00000 something one of the population that can even do this, see auras. Although it takes 10 minutes. I show you in one of the videos, I show you how to see auras. In the Systema series video, I show you that. But so you're talking about some guy that can see that, and now you're thinking of another guy that can manipulate his aura. Look, manipulating your aura is the same thing as like how you behave and what information you give with your intention. So intention has a lot to do with your aura. So if you're trying to be quiet and seeking and you just like, shut yourself down, so it's like you don't make any noise. Now I have used that. I've used that in work. Here's a funny little story from my security days that I can tell you about. So I'm not going to give you the background to it because I can't, but let's say there's two different factions. They both have a lot of money. They both have a lot of armed people that they hire to work for them. And I was, I was also sort of peripheral to this stuff because I didn't want to get involved with the wrong people, sort of thing. But, I was mercenary. I was basically hired to do whatever by whoever. And the team that I was working with, the guy that was heading that team, because he was the one that was getting close to all the dirty guys, all the dirty clients, the people that I was just like, dude, I don't want to know. I don't know what they're into. I don't give a shit. If it's working with you and a couple of other guys that I sort of trust a little bit, fine. I'll do the job, and I don't care if the guy's good, bad, or indifferent. I'll just do my job. And if somebody comes up, I'll drill them. That's fine, but I don't want to know. So he was organizing all this, and these two factions of people that were both, wealthy and armed had to meet in order to discuss, but they sent their armed men to meet because they, it was one of a very tense situation where people were probably going to get shot or whatever. So this guy said, look, we've arranged to meet in the island in the middle of a 4-lane highway. So there's like a 4-lane road this way, 4-lane road that way. And there's a tiny little island in the middle with a pedestrian crossing that it's like in the middle of Cape Town. So you can just sit there and, we can do the deal there, and everybody has to come dressed in like white shirts that are tucked into their trousers and pants, and trousers, so that we can see that they don't have any obvious guns. They might have some in their ankle holsters or something, but they're not going to have big caliber guns right on them because we can see them from far away. They're coming from one side, they're coming from the other. But the thing is, I need somebody there because I don't trust these fuckers, and they may have little guns or knives, and I don't know if there's 2, 3, or 10 of them coming up. Maybe they'll have guys on the sides, and we're going there unarmed, and there's just 2 of us. So I need a guy that I can trust that's going to be there, like check the position out. And I was like, all right, I'll be there. And I went there 2 hours early. Now, in this pedestrian crossing of this main highway, so there's this like verge, with a tiny little, almost like a roundabout, and there was like about 2 park benches on there, and they were supposed to meet on there. I went there 2 hours before with my military sort of army jacket, and it was drizzling, it was raining. I just sat on the bench, and I just like, whoop, became part of the furniture, didn't move. And I went there 2 hours early. These guys had the meeting less than 5 meters away from me. I could hear what they were saying. And I just stayed still and didn't move, and nobody clocked me. And I could see him, the guy that hired me like to do this. He was like looking around, like, where the fuck is he? I know he's supposed to be here. Guys were live, and he was looking around. Where the fuck is he? Where the fuck is he? But he was worried. And the meeting went well. There was nothing happened. They had their meeting, and then he left. And then we had organized to meet up in a certain place a half hour later. And I get there, and I saw him the whole time. And he was waiting, and I just left. And I went around the building, and I came up to him, and he goes, "Where the fuck were you, man?" I was like, "Dude, I was sitting less than 5 meters away from you." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I was sitting on the bench. You didn't see me because I wasn't moving. And I hadn't been moving for a long time, so I was just part of the furniture to you." "What the fuck are you talking about? That can't be." And the other guy said, "Well, that's idiotic. I mean, if you were just sitting on the bench, everybody could see you." I said, "Did you see me? You knew I was going to be there, and you were looking for me, and you didn't see me." And they didn't believe me. They didn't believe that I was there. They said, "No, you're just talking shit." I said, "I can tell you exactly what you said to that guy, and I can tell you what the name of the other guy was because they said it." And I said it back to him. And he was like, "But, no, how's that possible? I mean, I would have seen you sitting on the bench." I was like, "Dude, I was on the bench. I was less than 5 meters away from you." And it was just like, what? But, I learned that before I knew anything about Systema. That's from hunting. I learned that from hunting. And you can just keep all your thoughts and everything. You make yourself a tiny little pin. There's a guy who wrote a book, A. Athanasio, I think. And the book is called Radix. Excellent book about post-apocalyptic thing. And the guy talks about a martial art in there that is actually Systema, really. But I don't know where he knew about it or how. He doesn't call it that. I don't know if he just invented it. I don't know. Well, you have old footage of you hunting in Africa. You know how to gut and skin the animals too. Yeah, I don't have old footage of me hunting in Africa. We didn't go around like Americans with a TV camera. We just shot shit. And yeah, I know how to gut and skin animals and treat them and make what you call biltong in South Africa. I guess you guys call it beef jerky or whatever. But we used to do that out there because we're in the middle of nowhere. We're in the middle of the Kalahari Desert, and there's no fridge. Can't have it. We didn't have fridges in the car or anything like that. So you shoot a big animal, you got to treat that meat if you're going to take it back before it's hot. It's like really hot out there. So too many Chinese fight films. Okay. Wait, Greeny Houdini says what? I saw this one woman. No, I don't know. I saw this one woman. She's preserving her husband's head in a cryogenic chamber. So morbid. You're an odd one, Greeny. You come up with really odd stories. You might make an interesting interview one day with your pina coladas. The TVCL says, how would you define the concept of the logos? How would you try to explain this to the average person, and how would you try to explain this to someone who is closer to your level? I wouldn't. That whole logos thing comes from Emo Jones and the big drunk crazy bear or whatever. Logos is just another name for mind/logic, God. It's an aspect of God, of Jesus, the Word. It's like saying, oh, how would you explain logos? Just stick to God the Father, Jesus the Son, the Holy Spirit. Do your cross, become a Catholic. Listen to what your proper Catholic priest tells you. That's it. Not the Bergoglian, Molochian, fake, anti-church Satanist. An actual sedeprivationist or sedevacantist priest. You got to remember that millions of illiterate peasants were brilliant, very good, decent Catholics. As to explaining it to a guy on my level, I don't concern myself with the word logos. Because it's like pickup artists, They talked a lot of shit about, oh, you got to do this and you got to say that, and then a woman thinks this and a woman thinks that, and it's like, look, there are hints of information there and truth and whatever, but they're so mixed in with like such a plastic cover of bullshit that you're, you know, it's like, oh, here's a grass-fed chicken. Okay, well, turn its neck, pluck it, cook it, there's a chicken. No, now it's like, here on Chicken TV, we've got the best chicken for you, and here it is, naturally fed with protein-induced vitamins that grow naturally, you know, in the pharmaceutical labs of the hydroponics greenhouses that we grow the stuff in, and then we feed the chicken, and it's all natural, and it's just wrapped in that, comes out wrapped in that plastic. They don't even have feathers because we are so natural and so organic that there you go, here's a chicken. And that's what people like Emo Jones and Tate Marshalls, these guys are fucking bought and paid for. And by the way, that's going to be one of the things in the Set Deprivation series. I'm going to get into the details of every one of these fuckers because they're starting to piss me off. And in fact, in the very near future, I'm going to be dropping a nuclear bomb on somebody who's pretty well known, and the fact that he's just another grifter and a faker. And these people, you know, Emo Jones, as I call him, EMJ, you know, fucking EM Jones, he's a grifter and a liar and a supporter of the pedophile, vicar of pedophiles on earth, Bergoglio. These people are leading people that want to be Catholic, that want to be good, straight to hell. They're leading them astray. Taylor Marshall, another, Tate Marshall as I call him, another faker who like was a Protestant priest, a grifter, and then he thought, oh well, money's drying up in the Protestant thing, well I better become Catholic, and then yeah, and oh yeah, we're never going to say whether Bergoglio is or isn't, or Ratzinger is or isn't, because you know otherwise I just cut down on the people that are just going to buy. He wrote this crappy book, Infiltration. It's shit. It's utter shit. It's nonsense. And I think it was The Remnant, I don't remember. We did like a 2 or 3 video part series, the podcast series on his book, and how it's put together with like glue and spit. It's like literally, I don't know if somebody else wrote it for him and he just like threw the pages together. It's nothing. I mean, if you read my book Reclaiming the Catholic Church and you compare it to Infiltration of like Tate Marshall, he's a nobody. And yeah, I know I don't have like, you know, 200,000 follows or whatever, but then I'm not a sponsored Ben Shapiro, you know, Jordan Peterson, Tate Marshall, Gary, Michael, Michel, as I call him, Voris. These people are financed by Opus Dei. Michel Voris, E.M. Jones, I don't know about Tate Marshall, but definitely Jones and Voris are absolutely funded by Opus Dei, and Opus Dei is the scum of the earth. The Remnant, is the Remnant any good? I don't remember if it's the Remnant or Novus Ordo Watch. There's good stuff on there, you know. On Novus Ordo Watch, there's definitely good stuff on there. But I haven't, you know, I'm not a team guy. I'm not a team player, right? I've never been. I'm not very good at it. I've always done individual sports. I hate being part of a team of pretty much anything, because it's like, fuck it, if I screw up, then I feel bad that I let the whole team down. If one of the other guys screws up, I get pissed off with him, because it's like, why aren't you like putting 150% of all your life energy in this as if your life depended on it? It's like, well, we're just playing chess, you know. So I'm not really a team guy. So I'm a team guy in that if we have an objective, I'm a team guy like the Spartans were. Okay, I want to go there, and you're on my side, and you get next to me, and you hold your shield up, and that's it, dude. I'm not going to drop that shield until I'm dead, and I expect you to be the same. If that kind of a team, but every man in there is his own man, you know. So that's kind of how I think, and it's like, I don't, you know, sure, I don't have the kind of followers, numbers, supporters, and all that of these people, but then again, I'm not a grifter. I'm not bought and paid for. I've been offered shitloads of money. And by the way, I have been approached to be bought out and to be like, you know, snuck into these like fucking Knights of Columbus or whatever. I have. I've got plenty of evidence. I've screenshotted everything. I've been approached to like become one of these false preachers or whatever that you want to call them, that are saying, oh yeah, I'm a trad cat, and they're leading people straight to hell because they're not talking about Catholicism, they're not telling them the truth, they're lying, they're absolutely lying, and they're fake trad cats. Why? Because the average cradle Catholic has now come to the conclusion that Bergoglio is obviously an apostate at the very least. And so they're sort of like, oh, well, where do we go? Oh, and he's done away with the Latin Mass. Or maybe the SSPX. And the SSPX are, complete fakers because, oh, recognize and resist. You can't. Okay, it's a definition of schism. As a Catholic, you cannot recognize the Pope as being the Pope and not do what he says. You cannot. It's either he's the Pope or it's not the Pope. If he's the Pope, you do what he says. End of. And clearly it's not the Pope because, he's putting a demonic... symbolic, demonic, idol or whatever, on the altar. You're not supposed to put anything on the altar. It's absolute blasphemy of the highest order. He's clearly not a Catholic. And so that's that. But now you get all these trad cats like Michael Vore saying, we're church militant, we're proper Catholics. And you get this fucking emo Jones say, well, we're real Catholics, and yeah, the Vatican II had some problems, but we can interpret it this way. And Tate Marshall, the hermeneutics of continuity, and oh, but when Archbishop Vigano, isn't he great? No, you're all a bunch of lying, schismatic, heretic scum. And people don't listen, don't pay attention, they're lazy, they don't read. A lot of them are just ignorant, and they don't know even where to go. At the risk of tooting my own horn as usual, I'm not going to move it because my fan is on there, but reclaiming the Catholic Church. Just go look for my surname, Filotto, go on Amazon, it's there. And so it doesn't matter what these people say about the law. What they're doing is they're perverting something that had a value, and they're like twisting it. So the same, like, if you follow the pickup artist bullshit, you end up thinking that women are all these interchangeable creatures that you just need to push these 15 buttons and hey, she spreads her legs and gives it all up. And it's not like that, So you gotta. This actually leads me to think of another very interesting topic, which was about planning for things. I had this conversation with one of the Crusaders. He's an IT guy, so he's was basically saying, "Oh, but I need a system to do stuff." And I was like, "Dude, forget the system. I don't have a system. I don't even have a plan for when I start anything. I mean, just ask the other Crusader dude who works with me on the farm, and it's like, all right, we're gonna do this today." And he's like, "How do we do that?" I was like, "I don't fucking know, dude. I just get a hammer. I'll get an axe. We'll figure it out. But don't you need screws? Maybe a drill? Yeah, it could be. Could be a good idea." And aren't we planting trees? That doesn't, yeah, but the axe might come in handy. It's, you just have it in your head that you're going to do something and you do it. I'm not saying my system is perfect, but most people now, they get death by paralysis. They're like, I don't know what to do because I don't have a system and I don't have a method. And it's like, forget the system, just get it done. Just put a gun to your own head and do it. And it works, And we need a lot more of that. We need a lot more of people that are like, well, I don't really know how this is going to work, but yeah, I'm going to move to the Kurganate. And I've had people like that. The Crusaders are all people like that, by the way. My loyal Crusaders are guys that have just fuck it, I'm going to be one of you guys. And awesome people. It's not for everybody, whatever, but, see, don't get caught up in what the rest of the world says and who I have to, if I have to tell somebody about Jesus Christ or Catholicism, I'll try and figure out what kind of guy he is. And if he's on my level, and let's say he's like my clone, right? But he's just not Catholic. How I was a few years ago. That's why I wrote Believe. That's why I wrote that book for him. I'd be like, dude, I used to be exactly like you. I used to think, who gives a shit about all this nonsense? Just get some pretty pussy, bang it, and, make money, do what you want to do. Yeah. Exactly like you. And I'd tell him stuff that I'd see that in his face. It's like, oh, this guy gets it. He really was there. And now I'm completely out of that. And this is it. 98 pages. There, read. It's pretty big print as well. That's what I do. That's why I wrote Believe. That's who Believe is for. The average guy who doesn't believe any of that shit, thinks all religion is complete fucking nonsense. I know how that guy feels. I know how that guy thinks because I was that guy. So that's how I do it. And so I hope that answers your questions, TVCL. And if not, just ask some more. Michael Pecker, are the mask mandates, etc., just the leaders playing out their bondage fetish? Well, no, they're bought and paid for puppets. They have to do what they're told by the elite. They're all blackmailable. Almost all, I think, of the people that are running this thing are involved in pedophiles, child sacrifice, horrific shit that you don't want to think about. But they've all done it, and been on camera for it. So they're all complete. I mean, Boris Johnson had the Maxwell woman, whatever her name is, the one that got arrested, that was with Epstein. She was his girlfriend when they were like in university. These people are all connected. They're all the same. So they're all completely, bought and paid for. They're doing what they're told. The mask has got nothing to do with the virus. It's a control mechanism. It's to make sure that people, as long as they can see that everybody's wearing the mask, everybody's complying. Everybody's complying because, oh, well, if I don't do this, then oh. And you got to stop that shit. You got to stop wearing the mask wherever you go. And I've started doing that now. Just like, don't fucking wear it when I walk in. And I see how people react. And most people don't react at all. Maybe I have it on my arm. Maybe I have it in my hand. Maybe I just have it hidden away in my pocket. Maybe I don't have it at all. And so far, I have not been challenged once. And, I live in a pretty small place, so that's kind of risky to do because you don't want to antagonize like a bunch of people in like a small area or whatever. But at the same time, then I start to talk to them. And I start to see like, hey, who's vaccinated, who's not, who's pro-vax, who's anti-vax. And it's surprising, like people that are working in like administrative offices that you think, oh, these guys are all pro-vax. And they're sort of like, when you like get into them a bit, and they're like, yeah, no, I don't trust that shit. Good, now I know who's who. So you got to keep throwing those seeds out there. You just got to keep doing it. And when you come across one that's, oh no, I believe, I come across a really young doctor. It's like, I believe, and I've done all bought vaccine. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, just leave them alone, leave them to it. Find out who your people are. That's so I wouldn't say it's a bondage fetish. It is a control mechanism, and yeah, the elite are definitely sitting there going, look at the sheep, look at them wearing a mask, look at them injecting their own kids with that shit that'll kill them. I'm absolutely certain they're doing that, and I know this because it's on video. Again, you just look at the interview with Bill Gates when he's asked, what about people that are like, in homes, or like they shouldn't get their social security if they don't get the vaccine? He's like, yeah, definitely, yeah. Literally, that's what he's doing. Saramer, hello. Oh, wait, Michael Pecker, thoughts on cockfighting? I don't like it. I think it's cruel, it's sick, same as dogfighting. Yeah, I would take the guys to do the cockfighting and the dogfighting, and I would put them in the ring with the chest tie. You know what chest tie are? It's what the Romans used to do in the gladiator arena. It's like a strap of leather with like metal bits in it, and you wrap it around your fists. I put them in the ring, and right, whoever survives comes out. Let's bet. I put all those guys in the ring. That's my thoughts on it. Life would be so interesting if I ever became emperor, truly. Saramer Kurgan, you made a very succinct and convincing argument against sola fide a couple months ago. Could you repeat it, please, as I have forgotten it? Sola fide, oh, by faith alone. Well, it's retarded. The shortest way I can make that argument, read James. New Testament, James, that little book that Martin Luther ripped out of the Bible because it was kind of saying the opposite of what he's been saying. You can't have by faith alone. Oh, well, I'm just going to sit here and by faith alone, I'm saved. And once saved, always saved, because that's what Protestants do. No. You're going straight to hell. Succinct enough? I don't know. And I don't know. Go and look at a video again. I know I'm just saying what pops into my head. I mean, sola fide is as retarded as sola scriptura, obviously. Sola scriptura is completely moronic. It's even easier to late, catching up at 1.75 speed. Okay. At least I don't talk like Vox, otherwise you need 2 times speed for him. But EMJ and Jordan, I have 183 IQ Peterson. Oh, is that? Does Jordan Peterson genuinely say he's got 182 IQ? That's fucking ridiculous. Vox actually had a blog post on him where he proved that Jordan Peterson's IQ is no more than 120 tops. He proved it, like, categorically, using the exam scores of whatever the Americans do. It's hilarious. Oh, yeah. So Alpha 007 Org says, EMJ and Jordan, I have 183 IQ Peterson, appeared like out of nowhere a couple of years ago and gained huge followings. Totally organic. Yeah, you bet. While I have had under 2,000 subscribers for over a year now, because it gets to 1,930 and then that's it. Even though I've been gaining subscribers, regularly up to that point, 20, 35, 3 a day, but it will never go over the 2,000 threshold. And I'm shadow banned because a lot of people have been telling me they don't get the notifications, even though they're subscribed, when I'm going to go online. So, it's by word of mouth, guys, and I'm sort of very grateful for you people, because you keep telling your friends and discussing with your friends. That all helps. And look, I know we're just digital guys. I'm just a guy on a screen or whatever, but we have to kind of start helping each other that way, even though we're not. There's the warfare is new. The warfare is information now, and the more you can support each other across distance of thousands of kilometers or whatever, digitally, like Wooly's got that situation, and there's a lot of people that have said, look, if we can help Wooly get out of that once he's got his debt sorted out and he knows how much it is, we're going to help him. We're going to send some money towards that. And these are total strangers. These are just people that listen to my stream and talk to each other. So keep making it bigger. Let's make it bigger, like this Digital Kurganate. Look, if I could do that stuff for free and still pay the people that help me and feed my family and all that, I'd do it for free. Now, if I get 100 subscribers, I can break even so that I can keep it going. But if I get 1,000 subscribers, great. I'll buy more equipment. I'll make sure that I've got a proper studio built. I'll get a little extension of the studio built with proper sound and everything, and make it even more. So it's on you guys to. It is true what Vox says. Like, fund what you want to have more of. Help what you want to have more of. And that's why I'm so adamant about creating a physical Kurganate. And, I'm not a Tardia kind of guy. I'm not like telling you, give me money and I'll buy it. No. You come here, you buy your own land. You come live next to me. You become one of the crusaders that are invested in this. And I mean, sure, if somebody wants to drop a bunch of money on me and say, hey, you buy the land in the right place, and then you partition it out. But that's what I would do. If there was a crowdfunding to buy a bunch of land here, I would buy it under some kind of conglomerate or something, and people would get shares in it so that they each have a parcel of land. I would never be like, oh, give me a shitload of money and I'll build what the fuck I want on it. I don't want that. I want individuals that think for themselves. I don't want drones. I want proper Spartans, the immortals, the guys who, when Leonidas says, I'm going for a walk towards the hot gates, every one of his bodyguards said, yeah, you know what, King? I'm going to join you. Kind of want to take the same walk. Those are people that I want. I don't want any of these half-hearted, like, fair weather friends, and it's like, yeah, well, great, we're LARPing at being Catholics now. No, fuck off. I don't want people like that. Like orthobros. Yeah, because our church has been, and these are just autists that had the first petard going off, the first firework going off, are going to shit their pants and become Protestants again, or whatever. There's a bunch of people that are saying, oh, I became Orthodox because, if semi-probationism were really true, well, there's only a few of them left, and there's just not enough to go around, and, well, I can't play golf with anybody because there's not enough ortho bros. But the ortho bros, they've got enough people, and they sit around, they drink and play poker. So I'm gonna be orthodox. That must be the truth. What the fuck, dude? I don't care if I'm the last man standing. Whatever's true is true. There's no way that you're ever gonna make me say that 2 and 2 is 6. It's not gonna happen. 2 and 2 is 4. I don't care if I'm alone against the world. And I'm used to it, by the way, because I've been alone against pretty much everybody since I was a little kid. No joke, even at school. The entire school at one point chased me to beat the shit out of me. They didn't manage it, so fuck them. And Woolly Ram says, this is probably why we've come off so arrogant to heathens and Protestants. Why? I'm sorry, Woolly, you lost me there. I don't care if we come off as arrogant to heathens and Protestants. They don't count. And plus, we are right. There's a difference between arrogance and superbia. Superbia, as I tried to tell you guys this before, but superbia is somebody who is capable, very capable, and is not shy about saying, I'm capable and you're an idiot. That's superbia. It's unkind, perhaps, but it's a guy who says I can because he can. Arrogance is a moron who says I can and he can't. That's arrogance. That's somebody who thinks he can but can't. Joe C says absolutely right on the mask. It's an outward sign of a compliant mind. Absolutely, yeah, it is. Michael Pecker, in my uni, they say that 96% are not vaxxed. Awesome. Yet they just mandated masks and rapid tests. It's obvious it's not about health, just blind obedience. Yeah. And look, if 96% in your uni are not vaxxed, and that same 96% all gets together holding hands and saying, fuck you and the mask, what are they going to do about it? What the fuck is that uni going to do about it? If 96% of its student body says, fuck you and your mask, what are they going to do? Expel every single one of you? You just got to stay united. And the united thing is difficult because that's why they're doing the mask, that's why they're doing social distancing, so that you're scared to talk to each other. So that you don't have little groups. Even whatever, the American Civil War, they had cells, right? They had cells of people that got together and talked at night or whatever. Where are you doing that? Maybe digitally on Telegram, maybe. But even Telegram, can you really trust it? Who knows? So, you got to go backwards in time, and that's why, again, the Kurganate needs to be physical. Do your own Kurganate, wherever you are. If you don't want to be part of mine, if you don't want to move to Italy with your whole family or whatever, which I understand, it's a big move. But if you're going to come and be part of a community that is pitchforks and torches, you become the peasants with the pitchfork and the torches. And, the baron in the castle can't do very much when all the fucking peasants and some of his soldiers too turn around with pitchforks and torches and go, well, you got a nice castle there. It'd be a shame if it all caught fire. I don't know what the fuck's up with the Australians. If it's true that they're rounding up kids against their parents' wishes and putting them in a stadium, man, that country's completely gone. It's lost. If every able-bodied man in that country, and that's happening, and they're letting that happen, there are no men. There are no men left there at all. Because I'm telling you now, somebody tries to forcibly remove my kids from me to give them a death vaccine. Fuck you, there's going to be some dead bodies. It's like, fuck off. And in this country, at least, they know that. They understand that because don't touch kids. In Italy, kids are pretty sacred. And yes, there's pedophiles in the fake Catholic Church. And look, where's the last time you heard of a pedophile getting killed? Last time I heard was in the news in Italy because this pedophile fake priest in the fake Catholic Bergoglian Malocchian Church abused 2 girls, and he got 10 years in jail. They were sisters, I think, and one of them killed herself. And the priest got out. This fake priest got out of jail. 2 days after he got out of jail, he was found dead. And the police are doing an investigation. They've been doing an investigation for a few years, investigating whether the father had hired somebody to kill this guy or whatever. But it's just, I guess they're still investigating. Fuck that priest. You know? Fake priest. And TVCL says, no, I understand that it's a concept that has been bastardized, but it's still interesting. If it has been bastardized by Emo and pals, is there an unbastardized version worth considering? It relates to logic, but is it deeper than that? Does it go further? Yes, of course it goes further, and yes, of course it goes deeper. But you have to understand logic. And I know for a fact that TVCL studied philosophy and was never taught or told about logic at all. Doesn't know what logic was, you know. But again, Reclaiming the Catholic Church, Chapter 1, I discuss logic and how to think logically. If you understand logic, you need to understand logic. You need to learn what logic is. You need to understand how to use it. And even that's pretty difficult because the concepts of logic are bastardized. You know, they give you all the symbols in the math books now, and then they bastardize it. But logic is really the examination of objective reality. This is a glass. And there's philosophers that are going to tell you, but is it really a glass? And is it 1/10 full or is it 9/10 empty? And how do you know that you're not just imagining the glass? At which point you're like, well, if you bring your face here and I bring the glass and your face together, you'll realize that the glass is real. And no one's taken me up on that yet, weirdly enough. So apparently journalists, lawyers, politicians, all these guys, they all believe in coffee tables, walls, glasses, hammers, shit like that. Objective reality exists. Doesn't matter whether you like it or not. Being able to do logic means being able to predict and assume and understand what's going to happen in situation X, Y, and Z given objective reality. Now, there are things in objective reality that go to a point where logic sort of, I wouldn't say ends, but changes. And this is where the 3D thinking of Catholicism really comes into it. Because in a logical person, and I've always been very good at logic, very good, excellent at logic. But, so for example, when I was not obviously anything near a Catholic, and people are like, well, you know, Jesus came back he was raised from the dead, and that was my mental block right there. It was like, wait, dude, I have literally pulled the trigger on, I don't know, thousands of living creatures. No one comes back. No one. No animals, no plants, no people. Certainly no humans. They don't come back. You put a nice big hole in their head, they're gone. So that was my end point. But even before I became Catholic, I had experiences, which I'm not going to get into, but that are absolutely insane. Okay, the only way to explain those experiences are either I was completely flying high on drugs, which I've never touched, so that wasn't the case. I'm completely insane, but in a way that affects other people objectively around me. So again, either I'm hallucinating my own whole universe, or there's some really weird shit going on. And the really weird shit would have been enough to convince any normal man that there is more to life than just, you know, this existence, this life. But still wasn't enough for me because logic dictated, well, it could have been a whole bunch of other shit. So I needed the road to Damascus moment for me personally, but you have to remember that you have to be able to do logic in order to understand when you reach a point where logic becomes a little bit fuzzy. So, is it logical to say somebody can rise from the dead? Generally speaking, no. However, in the case of Jesus, Lazarus, other people that have come back from the dead, because they're not the only ones, then you've got like near-death experiences. And that was like, I thought, oh, yeah, maybe he had a near-death experience. Maybe he was kind of dead, but then they put him in that sepulcher and somehow he'd survived. That was my next step. And then it's like, no, it's something even bigger than that. And I can accept that truly and consciously now. It was a very gradual process, but because I've had other things happen to me that are completely unexplainable. Like, I'll give you an example. That guy that was in the plane that went from whatever it was to Florida, it's supposed to be a 2.5 hour flight, and he did it in like 20 minutes or whatever. And even the towers, the airplane towers, are like, what the hell? This guy just appeared out of nowhere. Like, what the fuck? Because he went through a little mini wormhole. Now, if something like that happens to you, you can no longer pretend that wormholes don't exist. You can no longer pretend. You can say that you're crazy, but you've got, like, the airfield tower in the place you left and the airfield tower in the other place that left, and they've got times and it's all stamped, and it's like fucking 20 minutes, and it's impossible. Your plane cannot do that trip in 20 minutes no matter what. It take 2.5 hours, you did in 20 minutes. What the fuck happened? When you have 1, 2, 10, 50 experiences like that, and they all start to form a kind of pattern, then, well, you got to accept that spontaneous wormholes must be a thing. Something's happening that current science cannot explain. Now, it's true that current science cannot explain that, but it is not true that it is illogical. It's just a higher level of logic, because you've got enough evidence, you've got enough proof, you've got enough confirmation from objective reality that there is something else going on here. You're just not 100% sure exactly what it is, but you can say that it is. You can definitely say it is. And so the thing with things like possession, UFOs, all of these things are difficult to categorically, put in a box, but there are also very definitely real things that are happening. So yes, logos is a concept of logic in that, but it goes much deeper because it is connected to God, and the logic of God operates on various higher levels than ours. It's still understandable to a certain degree and visible to a certain degree. But for example, there are parts of astronomy, like Kip Thorne. Kip Thorne is a very well-known physicist who wrote a book called something like Black Holes, Time Warps, and Wormholes, something like that. I read the book like 20 years ago. Brilliant book, except for the end bit where he says that wormholes allow you to time travel. No, Kip, no, that's fucking bullshit. I know you think that, and I know that you believe that from the maths, but the maths end up just giving you an infinity symbol, and an infinity symbol, you're interpreting it in a certain way that is not actually what is really possible. And there are Russian astrophysicists that don't have the maths that is taught in the West, that understand certain concepts of astronomy that the physicists in the West just can't even imagine. And it's only when these two guys came together, with the Russian guy saying, look, this must be like this because logic. And the Western guy saying, but I don't understand how you can come to that reasoning, but I can do the maths, and if we do the maths and you're saying this, and we know that this is that, and we know that this is that, and we do all the maths, and it's like, it's gonna, oh shit, you're right. How the hell did you know that? This is a really complicated maths problem, and I would never even have thought of doing it unless you told me that. That's because logic is superior to maths. Maths, in my opinion, is a subset of logic. Logic encompasses maths. And philosophy encompasses logic. Proper philosophy, not bullshit philosophy. A philosopher that tells you, like, maybe we're just all a dream and you're my dream. Smack him right in the head. And when he complains, dude, it's just a dream. I didn't do shit. It was your opinion. It was your dream. Well, I'm just a guy in your dream. And they don't like that for some reason, It's better if you do that in a martial arts class than you can't get done for assault. But, it works. Backstabber 101 says, well, I'm glad you and MHFM, I don't know who that is, release good detailed videos explaining the anti-Christian stances most of these grifters have. Who's MHFM? Please tell me, Backstabber. And Alpha 007, yes, he really said he has 183 IQ. I'm not surprised. He is a pathological liar. Something that he, writes in one of his books. Vox is an extremely patient. You can see he's a Red Indian because those guys spend like a week to torture you to death. It's an extremely patient man because he has read the books of Jordan Peterson. I swear to God, if you told me that you were going to give me £1,000 to read one of his books, I couldn't do it. But Vox did it just to No, so that I can prove exactly. But like, dude, we all know it's a fraud. Like, you don't need to go to that extent. Just save your brain cells, for something. But it was like, I had a conversation with him about this when I was at his place, and I was like, I don't get you, man. Like, why would you read that? He's like, no, because we have to like be sure. I was like, dude, you're kind of as smart as I am. Like, I know. And even Vox's wife was like, dear, I think he's just basically saying that for us, we don't need. Like, yeah, but there's other people out there that they don't really, like, yeah, you're a much better person than me, man. I couldn't read that book to save anybody. It was just like, but yeah, the guy's. Jordan Peterson is actually an insane occultist, and I'm completely serious when I say that. Aged in the Sun. What does it say for humanity that EMJ and JP spiritually uplifts people, but people run from the Kurgan? Well, it says they're a bunch of pussies. Just like that fake Scots Frenchman. I need to change that film. You can tell the Kurgan in Highlander, he's the fun guy, He's happy, he's never down. And the other morose, like, I've lost yet another person. I just fucking loser. Yeah, people run from me because I tell the truth. And I'm not really a nice guy, so I'm not going to tell you the truth and then just turn the other cheek. I'm going to turn your cheek. Fuck you, you're wrong. So, Michael Pecker, his IQ is probably from one of those easy free online tests, hence the high number. If he was really that smart, he would understand IQ is unreliable after about 160. Well, yeah, because you're getting people that are writing the tests that are not 160. So, yeah. But no, he has done tests in high school or whatever. You see, most people don't know this, but in school you get tested all the time. And they put all these things in your thing. And in the States, you've got a score for SAT or whatever it is. That is also like an IQ test. So Vox went to dig it all up, and he cross-referenced it and whatever, and he puts that guy's IQ at about 120. And you actually just reminded me that was how the conversation said, because Vox says, Jordan Peterson's a smart guy. And I was like, why the fuck are you saying that? He's a goddamn crazy retard. He's like, no, he's objectively a smart guy because he's created this kind of weird, like, reality that people buy into. And I'm like, but that's just because people are idiots. It's not because he's smart. And that's when his wife jumped in and said, no, I think what he's saying is like, for you and Theo and us, it's obvious the guy's not very, he's not a genius. But for the average person who's like even dumber than he is, he looks like pretty smart. And I'm like, whatever. It's just painful to think about. Slanty Chauffeur Bear says, will you be selling bundles of that particularly slow-burning Italian wood, the one used for walking people up on the cross? Well, I'm open to suggestions. How much are you offering for my slightly wet wood? Joe C. Last one left standing with the truth. Turn off the lights on the way out. No, dude. I'm not turning any lights off. Just remember, it's at the end of the trailer for the Set Deprivationist series. And it's a line that I saw when I was 16, when I first saw Highlander. And it's stuck in my mind. As soon as I saw that line, I was like, this dude is right! Lo and behold, little would I know that many years later, people would name me the Kurgan when I'd even forgotten about the film. Because when he gets in the church and he goes, I got something to say. It's better to burn out than fade away. Absolutely true. And also remember something else that I came up with, that you need to spread the light. You need to spread the light. So there's no turning lights off. You need to spread the light. Sometimes spreading the light means setting fire to enemy encampments. Remember that. Aged in the Sun, Protestantism is Christianity that is shattered in convenient pieces. No, it's not Christianity at all. It's satanic. Protestantism is the secularization of actual Christianity. And there's some very interesting things about the history of the church in the Set Deprivationist series, and it's a series that's going to go on for a while. Because I'm going to take out my time to mention all these people. Oh, I just scrolled down quickly. MHFM is Most Holy Family Monastery. Yeah, the Dimon Brothers. I like them. The Dimon Brothers are great. I only have one tiny point of contention with them, and I don't know that we disagree, because I wrote to them, but they never replied. And it's on baptism of desire and baptism of blood. I think they may be erring on the side of caution. It's a very tiny difference that we have, but I disagree with them on what they're saying because it's not 100% correct. But that's the only thing I could find in all the stuff I've read of theirs, and I've read a lot. Let's see, where was I? Yeah, so Protestantism, no, it's satanic, and if you, like I said, it's a very interesting video on the Deprivationist thing that talks about that. So Wooly Ram says, we come off as arrogant because we bow to no one other than God or his direct representatives. And so what? Superbia is not arrogance. And we're right, so fuck them. You know, it's like, what are you going to do? Why should I be subservient or, you know, I can be kind to an idiot that tells me, I learned in the school, the Protestant school, yeah, 2 and 2, 2 plus 2, 85. 85. My granddaddy told me, and his daddy before, 2 plus 2, 85. I can be kind and say, son, you're wrong, and look, here's this 2 stones, and then we have another 2 stones, and if you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, you see, 2 plus 2 is 4, okay? I'm sorry, but your granddaddy and your daddy before him, I think they might have just been a little bit mistaken, you know, that's how it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? You could be kind. But that's when these idiots go like, no, my grandpappy was right. 2 plus 2 is 85. You're wrong, man. You're wrong. You don't know your shit, you know? Let me teach you some maths. That motherfucker. I mean, it's just because there are laws that don't shoot him in the face, quite honestly, because it's like you're using up oxygen that could be feeding moss. And moss is far more useful because reindeer eat moss. And reindeer are kind of pretty. You're an ugly retard. See my point? So, you know, it doesn't matter if we seem arrogant. And good. Let them think that we're arrogant because we're right. And idiots should never, ever, ever be able to stand on the head of people that are their betters. And we simply are. So just, just get away from me. Get away from me. Go take a shower somewhere far from me. You know, whatever. I'm not a missionary, so fuck them. It's not my duty to save all of them or any of them. And by the way, although I'm not a missionary of any kind, because of the little book Believe, a bunch of people have converted. A bunch of people have got baptized. A bunch of people send me emails and tell me thanks, you know. Got one just not too long ago, one of the guys in the chat that said, you know, thanks for your thing, your help. I contacted the priest you told me and I got baptized. Great. You know, these guys are, I probably brought, you know, with that, and when I say I mean like providence and God, yeah, and your own efforts, it brought more people back to the real church than most of these morons talking nonsense. Seramar says, well, Protestantism is what happens when everyone has a Bible. To prevent Protestantism, you would have to prevent the printing press. No, Seramar, that is an absolute fucking lie. That is an untruth. That is, you need to read a book called Bearing False Witness by Rodney Stark. Get that book, Bearing False Witness by Rodney Stark. It demystifies or demythologizes the fake lies that have been attributed to the Catholic Church. It doesn't matter if everybody has got a Bible. It matters if they don't listen to the magisterium of the Church. Because as we have seen, and we're seeing all over the place, The average person is a complete fucking moron. The average person will inject themselves with a fucking poison that will kill them, make them sterile, and kill their kids because the government says it's okay. The same government that's run by pedophile Satanists. So, the average person is an idiot. The average person cannot read a paragraph in a newspaper and rewrite it in his own words with the same content. They are incapable of doing that. So, the fact that they should or shouldn't have a Bible, that's not the point. Have your Bible, read it, go to church where there is somebody that has dedicated their entire life, including and excluding having a wife and kids, just so that they can dedicate their life to make sure they don't lead people astray. And some of those guys are completely also corrupt and wrong, and they're mistaken. Even when they're good and they're not corrupt, they can still be mistaken. But the magisterium of the church is infallible. And that has held true from the beginning right until now. And it still holds true because the actual Catholic Church, magisterium of the actual Catholic Church remains and continues to be infallible and is best represented in the book behind me, the Code of Canon Law of 1917. So, and that only happens because of Jesus, not because of us. Joe C says, we're doing a Kurganate here in the USA, planning on 100+ acres of land. That's awesome. That's big. That's very big. That's about, probably, it's about 10 times the size of my piece of land, my personal piece of land. But yeah, I wish you all the best, dude. And, let me know when it's up. Ping me an email. We might have to trade. Woolly Ram. No, Protestantism is what happens when rebellion against God spreads from a fallen priest to nobles. I don't know if he was ever a priest. Miles Mathis has got some interesting information on Martin Luther. So, he's got an interesting theory. I'm not sure that I'm on board with the whole theory, but it's worth looking into. And anyway, like I said, sorry to keep punting it, but it is in there. The Set Deprivationist series has got a lot of details of things that most people haven't got a clue about. So I'd say probably on that series alone, it's worth the thing. Godspeed, Josie, indeed. And Josie says, thanks, Woolly Ram. Fingers crossed, we're about 1-2 years away. It's a race to beat the collapse. Yeah. If you don't mind my asking, Joe, how many people involved? I'm just curious, but don't give any information that you think might, work against you. Sadamer, the rebellion was always there. The printing press is what made it successful. No, it isn't. It isn't, Sadamer. It isn't. Printing press has nothing to do with it. What made it successful was the fact that the princes didn't want to pay money to the church. It's got nothing to do with the printing press. You might as well say that the internet is responsible for the degeneracy that we see. Yes and no. The degeneracy is always there. Now, you can use the internet to discover about deprivationism as you can about, finding out about dwarf porn or whatever. It's not the printing press that's the problem. It's not people having a Bible in their home that's the problem. And it's a lie that the Catholic Church didn't allow people to have Bibles. It's a lie. Please read that book. You're speaking in somewhat ignorance here, which is fine. We're all ignorant, but get that book, Bearing False Witness, by Rodney Stark. Just read that book. Rodney Stark is not a Catholic, by the way, but he is an honest man, and he is a proper historian, and he calls out other academics that lie, including himself when he screwed up in earlier books. In his later books, he admits it. He says, look, I've screwed up. I made a mistake there. Because I didn't do my own research. Wooly said, Aged in the Sun says, Wooly, I think that was what happened in Germany, but England was different. Yeah, England was different because it had a king that wanted to murder, divorce his wife. Actually, King Henry VIII originally, denounced Martin Luther. It was only when he was denied his murder divorce, that he said, okay, screw it, I'm just going to become, you know, king and pope of my own religion, and I'm going to take all your churches and all your land. It's a lot of money. So, hello, Sylvester Rep. How you doing, Sylvester? Good to see you. I haven't heard from you in a while. Joe, see, when you're tied to objective reality and the world around you isn't, the world accuses you of insanity. Yes, of course, but who cares? They're not relevant. You know, it's just a bunch of crazy people going, hey! And especially if you've got a 100-acre plot, nice towers on the corners, you know, a lot of friends. I'm assuming you're in the States. That means you can have a lot of guns. You're good. Woolly Ram says, just make sure you have a good plumber. Yeah, that is an ongoing concern for me. TVCL, if I was ever to do philosophy again, I would point directly to Aristotle's 3 laws of thought. They're almost over-explanations for really obvious principles, but they're fundamental and solid. Yeah. Backstabber. Oh yeah, I'd scrolled earlier down and that he was, you know, Backstabber's talking about Most Holy Family Monastery, and yeah, do read up on those guys. They've got brilliant stuff for proper Catholicism. And TVCL says, sorry, I'm a bit behind in the chat, but TVCL says, yeah, I see what you're saying. Logos is greater than philosophy, is greater than logic, is greater than math. It's like logos is the totality of truth and logic is our tool for tapping into it. Yeah, that's a very good description, actually. Yet, given our limits, it can only penetrate so far. Well, yes and no, because, you know, we've been given a mind by God, and we're told that reason will allow us to grasp everything we need to grasp. Clearly, we cannot contain God because, you know, He is infinite and He is God, and we're just human mortals. But we can still understand more than you think, and not only through logic but also faith. And proper faith has got nothing to do with blind faith. Proper faith is a knowing. It's not a, oh, I just hope it works out. That's not faith. That's just fear. And faith has got nothing to do with fear. So, Backstabber says, yeah, makes me think maybe the Kurgan in the Highlander movies was a set of Acantist. He knew the clergy in the church were fakers. Dad, you win the internet for today, Backstabber 101. And he did. By the way, did you also notice that, if I'm not remembering wrong, it was the Kurgan that respected the holy ground more than the other guy? Yeah, you're right. I think I'm going to have to watch Highlander again. Maybe I'm going to do a clip. That's brilliant, Bex. I'm going to write that one down. The Kurgan was a set of Acantists. That's awesome. Aged in the Sun. They run because they're pussies. That's a Kurgan hypothesis. I'd say it's pretty much a given fact, an objective, demonstrable fact by now. Woolly Ram, logos or the word is the underlying pattern of all that is and can be, so it follows. It's better to burn out than fade away applies equally to a martyr as to a crusade. Absolutely. Absolutely. The martyrs are like, don't get me wrong, I'm like crusader material, but I have got the highest respect for martyrs. Who was the guy that walked for a year to get chewed up by lions? Oh, I can't remember. I can't believe that I forgot it. Oh, it slipped my mind for the moment. But, you know, the martyrs are the most awesome people. Those guys are like, you know, they're the top. They're the elite forces. You know, I'm just a grunt in the crusader realm, and you know, then there's all the peasants and the civilians. But that's not to say that the peasants and the civilians are not as worthy or as valid as a crusader. I think they are. We're just different. You know, I've got a specific function. Villagers have got multiple or different functions. I don't, you know, you need a guy who makes shoes and he's a villager, right? You need the guy who makes bread. You need the baker and he makes the bread. My job is just, I was built to, like, carry the sword and man the walls. That's it. It's just how I'm built. It's nothing special, or there's less of us than there are people who would rather bake bread or plant flowers or whatever, but, it's just a thing. Aged in the Sun, that Kurgan scene in the church from the Highlander movie was a classic. I'm actually a professional bagpiper. You're a professional bagpiper? We might have to do an interview. Or, I don't know if we have to do an interview or an intervention. Maybe a bit of both. Woolly Ram says, well, his grandpappy might be a bit too consanguine with his wife. Ergo 2 + 2 = 84. Backstabber at Woolly Ram. Can understand why they think that, though. When you have a guy like Luther saying you can fornicate and murder 1,000 times a day and still have salvation, you get awful conclusions. Yep. Josie, sure, I didn't know it had a name until you started talking about the Kurganate. We call it the Refuge. Yeah, well, it's the Kurganate because I'm the Kurgan, and, as I've told all the people that have joined it and wanting to join it, it's not a democracy. And there's not even the hint of democracy in the Kurganate. I am the warlord emperor, and whatever I say is law. That's... And you got to think for yourself. So I shouldn't even have to tell you what needs doing, because you need to have foreseen it, preempted it, and done it before I even figure out that it needs doing. That's kind of people I want on my side. And when I decide that we're going to walk to the hot gates, every single one of those men is going to be right beside me. I just happen to be the leader because I started it. But if I drop dead at minute 1 of whatever's coming, the guy next to me should be able to just pick up where I left off and carry on. And everybody next to them would just follow. Not because they're drones, not because they're followers, but because they're like, it's the right thing to do. And it doesn't matter if I'm the leader, or that guy's the leader, or that guy's the leader, because it doesn't matter. It's not about me. It's about the thing. So it says, sure, my immediate family and I are in business together. So roughly 10 to 20, ranging in age from college age to us geezers. That's a good start, man. That's a very good start. The goal is to let in like-minded folks bit by bit. Sorry for the program. I'm half working while I'm listening. Don't worry, dude. That's fine. Yeah, that's a great start. And be careful about who you let in. Be careful about LARPers. Be careful about, like, yeah, I'm all in. And then it's just, they want to try and take power, prestige, I don't know your background there. I hope you're a sedevacantist, but the one thing that I wish I could give to people, like an injection, no, that I wish I could transmit through you through the ether, is the level of loyalty, dedication, and absolute commitment that I've had from people who I've spent less than half an hour with, face to face, and who've then literally moved country just to come and be part of this. And the reason they've done that is not, I don't think, because of me. I think it's because of the underlying spiritual religious beliefs that we have, which is founded on Catholicism. And they can see, however wrong I am, however many mistakes I make, however much of a misanthropic fucker I might be, however many times I might piss them off daily, and vice versa. They're Catholic, I'm Catholic, and we will die next to each other in the trench before we take one step back. That is something that Protestants do not have, and that I've seen nowhere else. And keep in mind that I have been a misanthrope all my life. I've only hung out with people, my friends are people that you can call up at 3 in the morning and say, listen, I've got 3 bodies to move. I'm already busy on one. You're going to have to move the other two because I've got the fat guy. And I'm just going to have to give you some coordinates. You're going to have to go there, dig them up, hide the body somewhere else, and, just deal with it, please, yeah? I'll send you the, pin, and then do it. Those are my friends. Those are people I call friends. Those guys, even in considering that's who I am, and that's the kind of people I like and like to surround myself with and whatever, and I've spent my life in gyms training hard with guys that have a concept of honor, duty, brave, courage, whatever, they stand for certain things. I have never encountered the level of commitment, loyalty, and unity that I have in the sedeprivationist community that we're building here. It's unparalleled, truly unparalleled. And if I could give you anything, I'd like to give you that, because to me, that is the surest proof that Catholicism is true, because it works on human beings, on absolutely flawed, completely fucked up, broken, retarded human beings. And I'm talking about me and my crusaders, right? We're all human beings. We're all flawed. We all have our faults. We all have our bad days, whatever. But I've never seen anything like this. It's unbelievable. It's truly, you have to experience it to know it. And it's a joy to live through that. It's an honor to be able to be part of it. So, Wooly Ram, for those interested, Stark's books can be gotten for free from Audible. It's easy listening while doing chores, shopping. Thank you, Wooly. I didn't know that. So, yeah, so where is Saramer? There you go. What was the guy that was? Is it? Yeah, Saramer. They're free. You can get the Bearing False Witness free on Audible. So get it. Just listen to it. It's brilliant. Backstabber 101 says you're right. I usually am, although I don't know what I was talking about in that particular sentence, but Agent in the Sun agrees with a yup. Sylvester Rep says this stream was great. Thanks for your last email, Kurgan. I'll shoot you one soon. Very excited to see Kurgan TV. Every single day I spend with these Calvinists makes me want to come to Italy more. Sylvester, there's a place here for you when you're ready. Just learn all the medical shit, right? We're gonna need probably some doctors. I got a bit of a thing on my tooth, so if you can study some dentistry and bone setting, just sort of healing of bullet wounds, just no, seriously though, it'd be good to have doctors. So, and Josie says, I'm trending sedeprivationist based on your argument and information and my own observation and logic. Joe, I don't know if you've got it or not yet, at the risk of getting rid of my fan, which is what's keeping me alive. And look, it's a couple of bucks, all right? I'm not gonna be able to sell the farm because you buy one of these, but Joe, get one of these, all right? Reclaiming the Catholic Church, that's my name where my finger is at the bottom. It's on Amazon. If you're interested in this stuff, if you're kind of serious, get that book, because any arguments against the deprivationists are addressed there. So, Greenie says, I'm listening, working. But are you drinking? Are you drinking, Greenie? Have you got your peanut? I mean, I'm reduced to this. Even the name, German is a funny language, but I'm still going to learn it on principle. Look at it. I'm not making it up. It's called Krauterlikör. Kraut liquor or Krauterlikör. Liquor of krauts. It's a sad language. And Sylvester says, yeah, me too, Josie. And Josie says, a bumpy road for you too. Definitely going to grab that book. Thanks, Colin. You're most welcome, Joe. And I truly, honestly wish you the best. I want there to be a Josie refuge. I'll tell you one thing, just one tiny little criticism, constructive criticism, I hope. Don't take it the wrong way, but refuge to me sounds a little bit like I'm hiding over here Fuck that. That's why mine is called the Kurganate, because we're going to expand. We're going to get back the Serenissima, Doge's Palace. I've had my eyes on the Doge's Palace since I first came to Venice. Got to get it back, you know. Aged in the Sun says, wish I was drinking. It's 5:30 a.m. here. I don't know where you live, Aged in the Sun, but I'm pretty sure that 5:30 a.m. counts as not breakfast time yet. I don't know. I don't know what you do. I don't want to screw up your day, but something or other says sad. I don't know if that's an acronym or if you're just sad. I don't know. Josie, German words always sound like a war crime is being committed. it is. I mean, a Krauter liquor sounds like a war crime to me. Yeah, I agree. The refuge is my brother's name. I'll work on it. Taiwan. What? I don't know. I think Aged in the Sun. Oh, you're in Taiwan. Aged in the Sun is in Taiwan. Oh, dude, get the fuck out of there. The chinks are gonna take you guys over very soon. Run. Run. Get the hell out of there, dude. You know, I wouldn't want to be in Taiwan right now. And if you've got a family, I strongly suggest you do whatever you need to do to get the hell out of there. So, yeah, let's think of a name for Josie. Suggestions. Oh, something or other says sad was a reference to you saying German is sad, and you capitalized it, so you understand. I don't know, German is just, it's fucking orcish. It's like Afrikaans. It's just one of those languages that like I refuse to learn. No, you can tell it's the enemy's tongue. Woolly Ram says, do you think there is value in compiling non-Christian arguments against Protestantism, simply logical flaws in the solas, etc.? Yes, there is. And actually, one of the best examples of that, so it's like an argument that a secular person would get, is an ebook, and I think you can also get it on his blog, which is free. You can download it, I think. And it's called Addicted to Distraction, if I'm not wrong, by, is it Charleston? Professor Charleston? It's called Addicted to Distraction. It's a short little book. You can read it in like, 20 minutes or something. And if you don't, it's best if you don't know anything about the guy. I think it's called Charleston, or I can't remember. If one of you knows it, just ping it on the chat, please. Professor Charleston, something like that. It's an academic. Anyway, I disagree with a lot of stuff that this Charleston guy says because he's gone sort of Mormonish, and then he's like trying to take the Bible apart and try to make his own interpretation of it or whatever. Charleston, something like that. But anyway, this little book, Addicted to Distraction, is brilliant, especially if you're a secularist that is not, religious or anything, because it starts out like this, and it takes you from like totally secular thing to the end of it, and you're like, oh my God, there's something more than secularism behind this. Very well done. Trini Houdini, drinking coffee. Yeah. Irish coffee, right? A little bit of that Mexican Tia Maria in your coffee. It is coffee too. I know your game. Arabic almost always sounds barbaric, with the exception of older Arab Christians, which sound very musical. Yeah, I found that when I was in Egypt, actually, that there were... I don't find Arabic as offensive as German. I truly don't. And especially the old Arabic that is a bit more musical. It's a bit gay, like French, but, it's alright. Certainly better than Afrikaans or German. Josie says, okay, it's a bit early, but going to the bourbon based on your fine example. Look, guys, I make my own hours, and it's like, I don't know, 2 in the morning. What time is it here? Oh, it's not even midnight, so I'm fine. Sylvester Rep, what are you on about? Afrikaans is like cute in a retarded way. Ah, but you see, that's because you speak Dutch. And I know that the Dutch talk about Afrikaans as being baby Dutch. It was like, it's like retarded. Look, it's like in Afrikaans, you can't even say like, can you please get off? It's like, move from my car, man. If a guy's leaning on your car, it's like, oh, fuck off my car. That's kind of like the translation into broken English of what Afrikaans sounds like. It's orcish. I'm sorry, but orcish. That is orcish, Maker's Mark, gentle as mother's milk. Maker's Mark is the bottle that one of the Dread Ilk sang the praises of until they sold the bottle with the Maker's Mark bottle has got like a long kind of neck, and it was all rainbowed. Rainbowed. As if the whole bottle had a bunch of blowjobs for a bunch of gay guys with different kind of lipstick on it. And after that, he didn't talk about Maker's Mark very much anymore. There you go, Josie. I'm just voluntarily following the leader on his walk to the gate. That's it. That's exactly. Those are the men I want. Something or other. Can you just talk shit about every Western European nation's people? I've done that, but they banned the video. If you go on BitChute and look under the Kurgan, I'm gonna find you the link. It's video number 114. If you go through my videos, they're all numbered, almost all numbered, except the ones I do impromptu and then I forget to number. But oh no, that's not it. Let me go and find you the link for that. Let's go to BitChute. BitChute and the Kurgan. Let's see. I was gonna upload all my stuff to BitChute and trying to hound me. Oh, dude, I didn't even realize there's a Spells of Truth guy who keeps trying to fucking Inquisition. Okay, somebody's, I don't know, been uploading my stuff. I don't know. Kurgan Warlords. All right, well, let me just go to one of the other videos and hopefully from there I should be able to get you the link. Okay, close that. There we go. There we go. Here, copy. There it is. And I was gonna do another one, but it's just like some fat American got all upset, obviously, and reported it, so it got banned by YouTube. Okay, thanks. You're welcome. Sylvester Rep says, ha ha ha. Wow, that's very close. It is. There's no polite way to say anything in Afrikaans. It's just, actually, for a very brief period of time, had this, I wouldn't say she was my girlfriend. She was like a 5-night stand or whatever, that I saw in a restaurant, thought she was hot, gave her my number, and then she sent a text, so we got together, and but I just looked at her. I hadn't heard her speak or anything. I didn't know she was Afrikaans. Otherwise, I would have probably kept my number to myself. But anyway, and she was like all into the church, Protestant church, NG Kerk. I don't know what the NG stands for. Not good, probably. Not good church. That's what I think it stands for. NG Kerk with a K. And she was like, "Oh, I sing in the church. I'm in the choir." And she's a nice girl. Nothing wrong with her. But like her accent was like, they're busy doing stuff, and like she talks, and like, just let me put something in your mouth, so whatever. But anyway, she very church going, but she'd go to church without knickers because you don't want to see the panty line. And then she introduced me to her friends because I kind of like you, like we're gonna get together, we're gonna stay together, whatever. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, let's go out with my friends, and I'm like, all right. We went out with our friends, and it was like, I'm Italian, so for them, I'm kind of half black. That's kind of how the other Afrikaner thinks. Like, they call like Italians and people like that salt dicks, because they're saying that we've got one foot in the white world and one foot in something else. So our dick is in the water because our dick is long enough to be in the water. So we're salt dicks. That's their, I don't know, self-referential small dick frame of mind. I don't know. I'm not Afrikaans, so I can't answer that. But anyway, and they were trying to, be pretty nice to me, because it was like, but you could see that like they didn't really know how like to behave like in a polite way with like a guy who's not one of them. And they were like, yeah, and then the smarter does the lot, and he was actually all right. He wasn't bad. He was sort of like, yeah, I mean, I guess, sorry, we're kind of talking a bit too much Afrikaans and you don't really understand. It's like, it's fine, you guys. Like, nah, it's a bit rude of us, but yeah, I mean, I'll tell you a joke about us Afrikaners, because it's like, yeah, what? It's like, well, you know what the difference is between, a really racist, a really very, very racist Afrikaners, like one of us, like one of us guys. So he's kind of making fun of himself. He was kind of smart. The difference between one of us really, truly racist people and a tourist to South Africa. Like, no, what? 24 hours. And he just burst out laughing. It's kind of a funny joke. And he made fun of himself. So, but that was about the highlight of the evening. The rest, I was just like blanked it. So, yeah. And Greeny Houdini says, English is the most tricky. It's amazing listening to people summon demons in pop songs. English is a basic language. It's a simple language. I'm a bit worried about my kids because they're speaking English first, which is obvious because, the wife's English. But they need to learn a proper language. I mean, English is kind of like a baby. It's a very easy language, very, Greeny Houdini says, so popular, eh? It happens. I don't know what you're talking about, Greeny. You've got to keep in mind I'm a little bit behind the chat, so give me some context, people. Oh, bother. The lag demon strikes. There you go. There was a bit of lag, yeah. BitChute search engine is worse than Bing. I don't want to know who they outsourced that to. I don't know, but there's a guy who's been fucking emailing. He's just some retard. I actually was going to have him on the chat as an interview, and I'd set it all up, and then he just didn't turn up. And I was like, okay, fuck it then. And you were like, oh no, sorry. And then I realized he's one of these guys who's all theory, and he's just smokes dopes all the time or whatever. I don't know. Can't be bothered with people like that. And he's been trying to get a hold of me and hounding me ever since about Systema and like auras and whatever. That's the most elaborate slur, but it's hilarious. How do you mean easy? Guys, seriously, give me some context because I'm just rambling on. I don't remember what I said 2 minutes ago. I've been going on for 2 hours. Really? See, I just had one of those like time lapses. I don't know what I've said for the last time. I thought I was at 1 hour something. I'm over 2 hours in here now. Easy. Oh, English. English is easy. It's an easy language. It's the only thing you guys totally fuck up is your your vowels. The vowels are pronounced thusly. Pay attention. A, E, I, O, U. That's how the rest of the world says it. Except for you English people that confuse that A with A, which we think is an E, which you people say I, which we think is I, while you people say I. And you almost get O and U kind of right. But you really screw up all of the rest, which makes it really difficult for spelling and stuff like that when people are starting out. But other than that, it's easy. It's got a word for everything, In Italian, we don't have as vast a vocabulary as English, so you guys ever watch Friends? You know that thing where Joey goes like, "How you doing?" And that's like his flirting thing. And in theory, it's because he's kind of like half Italian or whatever. But that's true, In Italian, you can say, how are you? And it's like, hi. Or you can say, how are you? And it's like, are you free tonight? Or you can say, how are you? And it's like, fuck you and I hope you die of cancer. You know, it's a very subtle language. And Josie has just gone full heretic on us because it's written, we should all learn German as the first language. No, we should not. Time to start a proper trivium for the Kurganate. I'm not sure I know what trivium is. I'm going to have to look that one up. It's the backward words formed that are dangerous. They don't know they're saying. Backward words formed. Okay, Greenie. You're obviously on your third pina colada there, so if you don't mind expounding on that a little bit. Wooly Ram says English is easy. The problem is that it has 3 grammar structures due to all the loan words. Yeah, but the grammar structure of English is basic. I mean, it's, you know, some of the Crusaders are trying to learn Italian. They're like, I don't get this whole, like, why is a beard got a female gender? I don't get it. A beard is male. Why would you call the beard like with a female gender thing? I don't know. And they also don't get the whole tense stuff. You know, like Italian is far more complex for an English person to learn than it is for an Italian to learn English. But yeah, alright, I've been going for over 2 hours, so unless Greenie wants to explain about the backward words, because now she's got me. Are you like saying spelt backwards, or like, are you one of those people that like plays the records the wrong way around or something? Sylvester Rep says, met a milquetoast spiritualist deep in psychedelics at a Systema class, listened to him for a while out of curiosity, then asked what sacrificing your actions to the gods meant, and he literally just left. Yes. See, that's the beauty. When you start to be able to do logic, you just like, so, let's just get right to that painful little spot that you've been trying to hide there under your left rib and squeeze it. Oh, look at that. A bunch of crap just popped out of your head. Ace in the Sun says, nice that I actually caught the stream. You guys are awesome. Well, thank you, Ace in the Sun. And seriously, get out of Taiwan, dude. You know, find a way to get the hell out. Doesn't matter where, just get out first and then figure it out later. If you've got some money or whatever, become a proper privationist, join the Kurganate, or, you know, join Joe's place or whatever. I don't know. Go fine. Woolly Ram. So Italian is a proper language, assigning gender to all objects as God intended. Yes, of course. Italian is a proper language. I mean, keep in mind that we Latins educated all you monkeys into like the reading and written word and so on. And then, you know, you've got Latin and then Italian. Then you go to, you know, Spanish and Portuguese and eventually like monkey languages like Brazilian. But yeah. Greenie Houdini, multiple words together are very tricky when you're chanting the hymn of the songs, and they do decipher the unexpected. It's pretty mind-blowing once you start understanding. Okay, I'm not sure I know what you're talking about, Greenie, so maybe ping me an email where it explains it, unless you can do it in the chat now. So, Age in the Sun, thinking about, dude, don't think about it. Pack your shit, get the fuck out of Taiwan. If I was in Taiwan, that's exactly what I'd be doing. I'd be getting the fuck out of there. I mean, look, I got out of the UK. And between the UK and Taiwan, I think I'd rather be in the UK right now. And I got the fuck out of there like a while back. So, get out of there, man. Get the fuck out of there. And try to get away from mainland China as well, you know. I mean, I don't know, maybe you can pass for Japanese or something, but get the hell out of there. it's not going to be pretty when China takes it over. And if you want a little preview, look at Tibet. All right, well, 16 people and 16 thumbs up. And here's a long one. Thanks, Aged. Have a good evening, lads. Well, I think I'm going to say good night because it's been a really long stream. I didn't plan it. What the hell did I talk about for 2 hours and 15 minutes? But anyway, I hope you guys all enjoy the stream, and do please sign up for the Kurganate, because the more of you guys sign up, the more I can do, the more I can keep it going. The trivium is the backbone of classical Catholic education. It systematically teaches the rules of logic, grammar, and rhetoric. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm kind of doing that instinctively already, as some of the Crusaders can confirm to you by the lashes on their backs. Hasta la pizza. What is this? Joe, you started out so well, and then you said that German has to be the first language, and now you're speaking broken Spico-Italian. It's just wrong. Sylvester Rep, I would love for Taiwan to cripple the Chinese military bastards. Yeah, that's not going to happen. They got a lot of ants there, so. Backstabber, you too, Sylvester. Thanks for the company, guys. See you all around. Backstabber, it's you. You made some interesting contributions. I particularly appreciated the fact that you pointed out that the Kurgan in the Highlander movie was a sedevacantist. It's thank you. I'm going to use that. I'm going to give you credit. Hopefully I remember to give you credit. If I don't, correct me. But that's brilliant. That, like I said, you win the internet for today. TBCL, great recommendation. Thanks. Josie does a good book on it. One sec. Yeah. Actually, I'm interested in that, TBCL. If you've got a trivium, I'll send you an email example. Oh, thank you, Greenie. I appreciate that. I'm actually really interested because, well, I got some thoughts half lurking at the back of my head, and I'm wondering if what you're saying ties into that, which is, that would be, I've got odd hobbies, as you'll see if you join the Kurganate, because some of the topics I talk about are kind of, most people haven't got a clue about that stuff. But so yeah, I'm actually quite interested, Greenie. Do let me know. Woolly Ram says Taiwan has the world's backbone of silicon production. Its conquest by China would be very disruptive.